When I first started playing the Blackbeard Remaster, I did something wrong straight away, and it's this: hitting the barricade then going through it, because actually there's a button for a breakthrough, and this doesn't use up any charges of your gadget, and you go through without having to pre-hit the barricade. And this was something I didn't realize. You can even do it going full sprint, so it's incredibly quick and incredibly effective. You can also use it on castle barricades too, but you will use up one of your charges. But this is just something I was getting wrong right off the bat with this remaster of Blackbeard, so when you play him, hopefully you won't make the same mistake I was. Anyway guys, welcome to Busting Rainbow Six Siege. Today we're myth busting Blackbeard. This should be a relatively simple episode because he is just a shield operator with a big gun. The immovable object versus the unstoppable force. So I wonder what happens when Orex and Blackbeard come together, and actually they cancel each other out, unless of course one attacks before the other, which I think will result in very cool duels between these two operators in game. And it also looks really good from the third person perspective, as this is what it looks like when they cancel each other out. And then we've got the opposite when Orex knocks down Blackbeard, or when Blackbeard knocks down Orex. So yeah, I think these two are going to be a lot of fun to check out in the battle. And then for an additional note here, this is what the two dashes actually look like side by side. Orex goes a lot faster, and Blackbeard is actually controlled by gas in his shield, so he only gets 4 dashes total, whereas Orex can dash all day long until his head implodes. Now a lot of people, when they heard about the Blackbeard remaster, thought he was going to make Sledge obsolete. But actually, Blackbeard here is a lot less versatile than Sledge. He can't do anything to bulletproof gadgets unless they're on soft walls. He can't bust open roof hatches, and he can only use his charge 4 times. So he's actually a lot less useful than Sledge, and definitely doesn't make Sledge obsolete. Now there is something that makes this shield operator unique, and that is that he has frag grenades, because you can throw projectiles where you are looking with the free look rather than where you are aiming. So you can come into a room, see some gadgets, and actually eliminate them with the frag grenades without having to make yourself vulnerable by moving your actual shield to aim in the right direction. And with Blackbeard being the first to ever have nades, this is actually quite a cool thing, and to be honest, I'll probably use it quite a lot. And I'm usually an operator that will take Claymores instead. But let's talk about the Claymores, because they're quite interesting. As we have a knockback effect, we could potentially launch someone through a wall and actually hit them on our Claymore. Now this may not work very often, because of course the coordination would need to be crazy. However, think of a Clash that's pushing you, and you put a Claymore in the side of a room somewhere. Clash is coming closer and closer to you, then you could walk up, melee her, send her flying into a Claymore. That could be hilarious. Now, although Blackbeard has become essentially a shield operator with a big gun, he does have an advantage that other shield operators don't have, which is his shield actually stays up front when he is on a window. However, it is the most compact size it can be. It's actually kind of similar in size to his original shield overall. But this means he is actually still very good at peeking windows. And you might think that the top of his head there is quite visible, but actually that's mostly helmet. You also want to stay aware of how much body you are revealing, because that shield is a lot smaller than when you are on the ground just standing there or crouched. So you have to be very wary of that. You don't want to reveal too much of your body. You're going to want to be peeking in from the sides and the corners. And of course, whenever you aim down the sights, that glass disappears. Now, when it comes to defenders, be aware that Blackbeard does have a massive helmet. And as such, you might take a shot at his head thinking it'll take him out, but actually you need to aim a little bit higher, because that helmet is a lot bigger than his actual head is.
Op 4 eliminated. Mission successful.
Now this Blackbeard shield operator does have some advantages over normal shield operators. However, he does have some disadvantages as well, and the biggest one is when he puts the shield on his back, it definitely does not protect nearly as much as other shield operators. So saying you're doing some diffusing, it's going to be pretty hard to protect yourself with just this little slither of a shield on your back, and your head is very, very vulnerable. However, it might save your life a couple of times, so it's not completely terrible. Now I consider Blackbeard not to have any direct counters, and the closest is Tubereau here, where his freezing effect will stop you from doing your charge. Whereas Mute's Jammer has no impact whatsoever. So unlike Blitz, who must have a wireless connection to his flash, it must be a direct connection with Blackbeard. And then we have Melusi, who also has no impact, apart from of course making him actually go slower just like everyone else, but has no impact on his ability whatsoever. And then of course anything that would shield break another operator will also shield break Blackbeard. And Blackbeard also gets the damage resistance that you would expect from shields as well when it comes to explosives. You'll also watch the segments of the shield move when Blackbeard is looking up and down, which actually looks really cool. And it kind of just makes it look like it's fitting into the world a lot better than usual. And yeah, this is it from the first person perspective. You see we've got 125 health with a nitro cell dangerously close. And when it goes off, we go down to 64. Of course, we get a guard break as well. And then as expected, the shield is indestructible, even the glass piece itself, going away from, of course, his paper-thin shield that he currently has. Now, interestingly, when I first played Blackbeard, it was an early access event back at Operation Dustline, and the first iteration that I ever played, his shield was indestructible. So it's quite interesting to now go back to this. It gives me memories of doing a couple of tests in that event and thinking, damn, that's a bit OP. And then thankfully it was made destructible before it was actually launched, although it had a lot of health back then. And that's it guys, there's not many nooks and crannies to go down here with this Blackbeard remaster. He is effectively just a variation of a shield, so there's not really much in the way of Mythbuster style stuff to check out with this operator, as he fits into most of the rule sets that we already have in place. I think the biggest one for me is just the ability to go through the wooden barricades in one tap. He feels so quick and scary. And I do wonder if they might have to tweak that, because him just being able to barrel through with potentially a whole team behind him is a scary thing, and I can't wait to actually see that in gameplay, but it also scares me. Anyway guys, if you feel like I missed something here, let me know in the comments below and I'll catch you guys next time.